It's scoring time for this loaf of bread. This is the Marriage's very strong Canadian bread flour that I've used for this. Now, a top tip is to put your dough in the freezer half an hour before you want to bake it whilst your Dutch oven is preheating. If you have overproofed your dough, it isn't going to make any difference. The freezing process doesn't actually change the dough itself. All it does for half an hour is basically like make the outside of it solid. So if you have overproofed, then it will still collapse anyway. But if you put it in the freezer for half an hour beforehand, you will find that it's easier to score. That's just something that I like to do. So what pretty pattern shall we do on here today? Let's do one down the middle, and then maybe like, I don't know, what should we do? Some like little bits of corn around the side, like so. I mean, you can kind of do any pattern you like really, can't you? I sometimes just like to shake it up a little bit. I'm just doing some pretty little patterns, but like I said, if you were to have an overproof loaf, the freezer won't make any difference. Does anybody else use the freezer for theirs? I just find it makes it just a little bit easier. And I wonder how much it affects the spring as well, because you're kind of wanting to create steam in the oven, so having a particularly cold loaf going into a very hot oven, I wonder how that actually helps with that spring as well. So there we have it, that's my loaf ready to go in. So I've had my Dutch oven preheating for half an hour. There we go. Ouch. Sorry, stub my toe. And that's it, heading in. And I'm going to bake it like that for 20 minutes with the lid on, and then after 20 minutes turn the temperature down and bake it for another 20 minutes. So there we are, so come back and see. Come back and see my freshly baked loaf of bread.